The CIA and the Facebook have been completely exposed to the public. Now it is up to us to acknowledge this information, to spread this across the world, all while banks across the United States stand on a razor's edge of destruction once again, in the same situation we saw right before the last flu season. But we all know they're getting ready to roll that bad boy back on out. Welcome to the blockchain basement, home of the dwellers. We are powered by Arculus here on this show, and a big shout out to everyone joining me on the morning macro reports. There is a lot of things going on around the world. El Chico, what is this? This is the blockchain basement morning. It is 10:02 a.m. here. So thank you for joining me, El Chico, Nicole Ministator, with her mysterious, almost like a secret agent lifestyle. Bob from accounting, Jeremy Zoech, Timothy Murphy, Break Nation Sports, and Will I. Good morning to everybody. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on around the world. We'll do just a quick view because I know this is a crypto channel. So just a quick view on what's going on Bitcoin real quick. It is trying to hang out around this 58.5 level. Look at that. We didn't go to zero, just a nice little correction. And there's some things I'll be covering in the 2 p.m. show, just in relevance to the similarities between this drawdown post-ETF approval that we also did experience here in the American markets with BlackRock and our beloved BlackRock ETF and the billions of dollars that are now, flowing into it. There was an initial shock there. So hold the line. Okay, hold the line. We're going to be getting into all the crypto stuff a little bit later in the day, but have to get all this macro action off my back. Let's get into it here. We got this from Satoshi Flipper talking about the first FOMC with a higher than 50% chance of a pivot is now September 18th is what they're looking at as far as the projections on when the Fed will actually pull their boot off of the neck of banks and people alike here in the United States. This has been my opinion. I never swayed from the June to the moon time frame when I actually do think we'll see a sooner than later sign of weakness from the Federal Reserve and a little bit of a pullback in a dovish sense, having to actually bring down the interest rates. There's a lot of things on the underside, under the carriage within the banking system that are broken right now. And should things continue even at the rate that they are at, it's absolutely going to be bloodshed across the globe. But more primarily, for what I'm concerned about is what is going to happen to the banking infrastructure here in the United States. We had this from Bar Chart talking about up to 7% of banks may be at risk of failure, warning consulting firm Claros Group why hundreds of U.S. banks might be at risk. Really, the last time I looked at the FHLB ratings list and the overall dangerous exposure that these banks have to ESG initiatives, which are in the red, to commercial real estate, which is falling off a cliff as well. It's around 200 banks, around 200 mid-sized banks, not the massive conglomerates, but pretty substantial sized banks are at risk should these rates hold at the levels they're currently at. Thank you for the super chat, Crypto Man Sam, $10. Popcat showing immense strength despite BTC shitting the bed. And that is an excellent thing to remind people of, that as we see Bitcoin and really the traditional markets have a little bit of a haircut over this week, okay, not as nice of a haircut as my wife gives me, but a little bit, you will see some signs, some canaries in the coal mine in the crypto markets of projects that are actually performing well, or regaining their strength quicker than the rest of the markets. Those, in my opinion, are highly likely to be the faster horses in the race of this new bull market that we find ourselves in. So beyond the bull market we're in, we do have banks showing a little bit of signs of weakness, a little bit of the undertone of why Jerome Powell was a little bit dovish yesterday, and I didn't even bother to listen to him. I basically knew what he was going to say, acting slightly dovish, keeping you on your toes, higher for longer. Maybe we're going to have to cut because actually the job market's in the gutter, right? And this is things that me and you in the morning stream here, we know these things. So I didn't need to sit there and bore us to death by listening to this, dinosaur talk about things that we already knew. But there are statistical reasons why they cannot keep those levels at the rates that they are unless they're willing and ready to collapse the system at large. Base ecosystem strong. I know it. Majin Shan 90. Yes, I've been seeing that as well. And these are the signals that we need to watch, especially while all this blood's flowing all over the place. People are wondering, oh my God, we didn't go to the moon yet. It's over with. Run away. Let's act like cowards, right? Because it didn't go our way for the week of, right? Think about this. We were celebrating breaching $30,000 a few months ago. We have collapsed down all the way to $58,000 today. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, September 2019, the banking infrastructure had 10 reasons to Sunday economically to reset and to print to the moon. Now we have this guy, Bill Gates, talking at COP28. And this post from an absolute savage of truth, a bringer of the sauce, Michael Young, call sign Big Honey 6. If you don't follow Michael Young, you're missing out on the real stuff. He is one of the most experienced war journalists on the planet, and exceptional military background, but really a great judge of character and down-to-earth person. So I highly recommend that you follow Michael Young. He's highlighting the message from Bill Gates here, the issue of food systems and how climate change and a lot of farmers aren't able to grow their crops, which is a tragedy for them. Oh, it seems like our weather modification's working pretty good, right, Bill? We'll talk about using the innovation to absolutely solve that problem. I'm sure you will, with genetically modified organisms that end up being heavy highways for chronic disease to continue going parabolic in the United States and really across the world. For any country that's willing to accept this man's scam will fall victim, in my humble opinion, to just existential chronic disease problems. And at large, I think here in the United States, we have sold our gut health for convenience. We have sold all of those things down the river for the ease of access, for the ease of use, for cheap little goods that are available all over the place, produced by these conglomerates, and thus squeezing out the rural farmland, the breadbasket of this country. They've been seemingly forgotten by. So I encourage everyone at home to take food production into your own hands or connect with your local farmer. For God's sakes, they need not only your economic involvement to keep them building, to keep them growing, but then also grow your own food. We used to call them victory gardens in World War II time frame, but it essentially helps you operate from a position of strength. And the first and foremost thing that I think we are is we are what we eat, and that health is created in your gut first and foremost. So please, for the love of God, try to take control of that before this jackass takes it away from us at large. If we stay asleep, it will be gone. So on that regard, we have people like this, another donkey, Jack Dorsey, follow the money, acting like some kind of freedom fighter, right? Wearing some stupid karate outfit probably in this, trying to wear a beard, trying to look base. This guy was one of the biggest proponents of our censorship during the most imperative times of the election and flu season. Now he gets to sit here and gallivant acting like he's some sort of freedom fighter. Do not fall for this buffoonery. He means nothing but control and pain for the people below him, and that is a quite extensive list. So there's a few it's a small club, and we ain't in it, folks. Don't believe these Jack his name is in Jackass. He literally had a firsthand involvement with the silencing of millions of Americans while the elections were going on, while flu season was breaking out. They're trying to experiment on everyone at large all at the same time. He was behind the sticks. So do not fall for it. Same with Bill. So this is interesting on the regular markets. Carvana coming up with a massive move yesterday. It was up 40% in after hours trading. This, gotta admit, this is a shock to me. Okay, now Carvana, I did some hiring for heavy commercial construction and some handling of, superintendents, project managers in that regard, and looking at the expenditures that Carvana was facing with the design of their car movements, of their car storage. I was like, how in the hell is this going to be profitable in the long term? Well, they proved me wrong. They had a 30% spike as the used car retailer posted record profits for the first quarter. Pretty incredible to see. Pretty incredible to see. Now, on the car industry at large, I still think that we're at least going to have a pause on the cost of vehicles for a short amount of time, but I'm really hoping to see this thing tap out. It's exploded in price over the last few years. And my overall thesis seeing that we are going to see stagflation on the regular markets while we absolutely crush in crypto. And I plan to utilize those profits once again for homes and vehicles just to outpace the record amount of inflation that's happening around us. And in that side on the housing defaults have now climbed to the highest levels since 2013. Now the Fed confirming higher for longer. Disagree with this. The metric is likely to continue getting worse. I really, okay. So they're trying to say this is higher for longer because of this data. I don't disagree with this. I do disagree with this, but I wanted to show the data regardless. Okay. So they say that they're going to be able to hold higher rates for longer. Why do I think that's incorrect? Well, there's a reason why. It's because commercial real estate is absolutely in the gutter. And really, there is no other place for this economic system to go but back to true and tried quantitative easing. Now, how they instituted quantitative easing over the last few years was a pretty cataclysmic scenario that they rolled out amongst the public and the media, more primarily in the form of someone sneezing in Wuhan. And it was a bat or something. They tried to sell that to us. Now we know, thank God to James O'Keefe and for freedom fighters that just literally will not shut up. And there's a reason we will not shut up, is because this means everything to us. This is my life, my family's livelihoods on the line. I take this as serious as a heart attack. And sure, these types of situations take a year or two to roll out, but guess what? I'm here screaming about it the whole way along. So won't you join me, oh wonderful neighbor? Now this, very interesting. This hit me in the heartstrings, man. This is just the situation for people across the board. Try to reach into retirement. You're told that you can retire at a certain level, that you will be able to afford, your retirement. This guy laying out some of the stark realities of Americans in the United States. Let's have a listen.
On Social Security, 68 years old, and working just to pay my taxes. My property taxes were $895 a year. Now, my property taxes are approaching $8,000 a year over the last couple of years. And so we're paying $700 a month rent to the state.
That is insane. Okay, so let's talk about it. From $800 a year to $8,000 a year in property taxes for a home that he most likely owns outright, if he's only having to focus on the property taxes. Literally a 10x increase in property taxes over the course of a few years that should drop your jaw. I mean, they talk about this whole goal of owning your own home and that you'll be able to escape, and then they 10x your property taxes, and in the process print your buying power for the money that you might have left into the gutter. So then you can barely afford food on top of it, thus forcing people that were previously retired back into the working world. This is why we have to be aggressive with what we're investing into. This is why I choose offense instead of defense when it comes to finances, because I have to find a way for my family to outpace this or face a similar situation. I know many people that have spent years, highly decorated, degrees, engineers, lawyers, and especially some people I know in California that are very high up there as far as medical research and things like that. They can't afford to retire. It's insane. It's insane to think that you can get 2 degrees, be at the same company and work up those rungs for that entire time frame, never do anything wrong, only focus and show your value. And yet you are left in the rat wheel, in the spinning gerbil wheel with no ability to escape. This is why we Bitcoin. And beyond that, beyond the property taxes on your own home, guess what? You know what? Just get some Bitcoin and put it in cold storage. Okay, there's a very simple maneuver that has been created for people to fight back against this major problem. It is by holding crypto in self-custody, cold storage. Boating accidents do happen. That is why I scream from the top of the rooftops every single day to take control of your own finances. Get your hands on one of these. These are the Arculus. Arculus, basically you utilize this card and you connect it to your phone. The developer of the chips in our day-to-day cards is behind this product, and really it's got an immense amount of security built into it. So I do just continue to scream this from the top of the rooftops. You guys, take the power away from them directly. Now, this very interesting this is from Jim Jordan regarding Facebook files, the Biden White House censorship of the lab leak theory. In a thread on July 16th of 21, Mark Zuckerberg texted Sheryl Sandberg, Nick Clegg, and Joel Kaplan, 3 of the highest ranking executives at Facebook. Could Facebook tell the world that Biden White House put pressure on us to censor the lab leak theory? Earlier that day, Joe Biden had told the world that Facebook was killing people, and the company was livid. Nick Clegg described the Biden White House as a highly cynical and dishonest. Sheryl Sandberg said that they were being scapegoated because the White House was failing to meet its vaccination numbers. Oh no! Okay, so you didn't meet your quota, so you had to reach out to Facebook to further beat down the savages that remain, the unvaccinated Jews that refuse all of your psyops all the way through and remain that way. Also protected our families because we're just that damn based. So they had to reach out to Facebook and all the executives at Facebook to push this over the edge. Facebook felt that they had been combating alleged misinformation, aka censoring Americans, all year. Since February 21, the company had been censoring Wuhan lab leak theory in response to tense conversations with the new administration. Now, this hits right in the feels. I helped build a company from the ground up. We got up to $6 million a year and was absolutely pushed out over refusing this PSYOP. And I never looked back. I will never forgive. I will never forget. And, seeing this finally be exposed, validating, yes, years too late. Also, yes, also years too late. And people looked at us like we were absolutely insane when we're in the trenches fighting back against these narratives in live time. And now we get the validation 4 years later, a little bit too little, too late. But it is something seeing a representative out of the government, Jim Jordan, coming out and conversating about this. Now, the damage is done, yes. Now it is up to us to absorb the damage that has been done to the population at large and remind them of this gigantic scam, because it is of my opinion that there is another one coming. They're going to be, in my opinion, my humble personal opinion, that there is going to be a push for this bird flu move. And this bird flu move translating into cows and the conversations there within. Guess what? It was the same situation. The NIH working with labs in China to create a more infectious bird flu. It's already been talked about on national media. I don't have any worries bringing it up because it's already been printed all across the board. And, you know, it's interesting. I can talk about all these things now. The things that I cannot talk about now are, you know, regarding how I'm always harping on Mountain Dews. If anyone gets that, you know what I'm talking about, dudes. But yeah, I mean, we have this coming about for Facebook absolutely bending the knee to communist style, crony capitalist style control from Joe Biden's new White House. Absolutely disgusting. Now, economists really don't understand economics. This is a good reminder from Rothmus. This is a CNBC headline that is dated July of 2020. So a few months after they broke their big scam on someone sneezing. Here's why economists don't expect trillions of dollars in economic stimulus to create inflation. Now they have statistically and sociologically completely been invalidated on their idiotic takes. It is a very simple concept. If you continue to print, especially at exponential rates, you will debase the currency at a very, very fast pace, thus quickening the demise of the United States dollar. I mean, if you look at the past history of world dominating currencies, they have a shelf life. And we are coming to the close of that shelf life in the dollar. Now, there's a lot of considerations that you can make on the potentials that the government or some insider within the government created a seemingly agnostic system of Bitcoin for the world to kumbaya around after World War III and think that they have a transparent system when, in fact, the Phantom of the Opera is one and of the same. Now, that's just a theory. Hopefully that's not true, because then they would have control of the back doors. But at any rate, monetarily looking at Bitcoin's performance compared to if I were to just leave my money in savings like these scammers told me to do when the flu season broke out, I would have absolutely lost my ass in terms of buying power, in terms of being able to own a home, in terms of being able to get new vehicles. The only option I have is to move towards the danger at this point economically. There is no other move. So just got to bring that up, guys. What they say is not what the reality really is. Now, this big breaking news. This coming in, Mario Nafal reported it, but it was James O'Keefe, the tip of the spear in this situation, and being called out for his work by Matt Gaetz, calling for an immediate investigation into the CIA over the O'Keefe scoop. So let's read on. Let's get the full story here. And really, I'm sure that it's developing. There's going to be more updates on this as we go through the next few weeks here. But the O'Keefe Media Group recently released a footage of undercover encounter between his undercover journalist and a project manager working in cyber operations for the CIA and the NSA, a contractor with top secret clearance. The footage contained evidence that American intelligence agencies withheld intelligence from President Trump before and during his presidency and used foreign intelligence services or FISA authorities to spy on President Trump and may be still doing so today. Given the select subcommittee of the weaponization of federal government has a broad jurisdiction to instigate the role of an executive branch agencies in investigating American citizens, it is unconstitutional, illegal, and unethical activity, in my opinion, and according to law, that has been committed by these said agencies, as well as others related violations to civil liberties of citizens of the United States. I am formally requesting that the weaponization subcommittee open a formal investigation into the concerning actions allegedly perpetrated by the intelligence community against Trump, as exhibited in the video footage that has been uncovered by O'Keefe. Absolutely bombshell to see a government representative with a smoking gun, with what O'Keefe has uncovered in this undercover video, with that CIA agent talking about what they've done in the past. Now, the big kahuna, the big bada boom can be opened on a legislative side. And we hope to God that we still have people, some good apples left within the top of our government that can see this through and try to regain the rights that we once had here in the United States. Yes, I feel that is a past tense. Yes, it is up to us to be loud as hell and to get them to pay attention. Me personally, I'll be reaching out to Kemp here in Georgia, as well as Marjorie Taylor Greene, my local district representative. But it is up to you. as well. You at home, the decentralized nature of your vigor for freedom is what can push this over the edge. Make sure to reach out to your local representatives and let them know that they're not going to get away from this. This is absolutely huge. And now this, just a quick update from O'Keefe on the phone with CIA press secretary. A spokesman at the CIA gives him a statement saying that the program manager at the Chinese Mission Center caught on tape talking about higher-ups withholding information from the president. Look at, he doesn't even do past president, his current president. From President Trump is no longer working at the CIA. Where there's smoke, there is fire, my friends. And where there is immediate knee-jerk reaction from the CIA to, oh my God, we got to cover this up. We got to get rid of him. We got to act like we're doing something. Where there's smoke, there is fire. There is a lot of validation in O'Keefe, especially from receiving this phone call. Absolutely insane to see this rolling out. What a time to be alive. You have a front row seat to the fourth turning, to the revelation. It's all happening live time. Now, on the local civil unrest side, we had covered some of the college protests that were happening yesterday, some of the heavy-handed movements from police, some of the vigor, some of the anger that's being built up in these communities on college campuses and really in democratic cities across the country. Now, we got these guys. Okay, so Pi Kappa Phi men defended their flag. Throw them a rager. There's a GoFundMe created for these frat bros defending the American flag. Guess what? They have raised $350,000 on this GoFundMe. Man, that is going to be one hell of a frat party. Holy hell. Man, that would be fun to be invited to that one. But more shout out to them. And really, you know, this person had a lot of curse words involved with their conversation, but they had some validity. So this is posted from I meme, therefore I am. And this is what he's been saying for months now. And really, the context of this fellow's point is that we have college students willing to protest, willing to get beat in the head with a baton or shot with rubber bullets over borders that aren't even theirs. Meanwhile, they can't afford to piss in a bucket in the corner. They can't afford to own a home at this rate ever. They're being inflated to literally zero. There are, just so many reasons, monetarily and physically, why these college students should be angry, but instead they choose to sit here and whine about borders that they've never been to in countries that they probably couldn't even point to on a map. Absolutely incredible time frame. Just some things to think about. Now, we're going to be punching over to the Discover Crypto morning stream. I appreciate every single one of you for joining me. I'm going to set up this rate, or at least make sure it is set up, because we're going to join those folks. There's a lot of stuff to be going over in the crypto markets. A lot of exciting developments are happening within Bitcoin as we're setting up this this higher midterm move. We're trying to get back to 60K. So let's go join them and show some love from the blockchain basement. I appreciate every single one of you out there. Bitcoin Stu, Crypto Stevo, Bob from accounting, Nicole Ministeta, once again, Saga Alpha Club, Jacob Huffman, Bob from accounting. We got the best people. We got the best community. You guys lift each other up. There is power amongst us. We must band together and work as a team. And I'll see you at 2 p.m. Good day.